Jeremy, to see this Lions team come off of an NFC Championship, winning the NFC North title, camp to me feels a little bit different. What were your first impressions the first 3 days?
No, it's definitely something similar to that because, they came out, obviously, right after the NFC Championship game, Dan Campbell saying, like, it's going to be harder the second time around. And so you wonder if that message is going to resonate. Usually does Dan Campbell, and you come out here, and they're almost tackling before the pads are even on. It's pretty incredible to see that level of intensity. It certainly seems that like the message is getting through to everybody, and it's a lot of fun so far to watch it too.
It has been physical because usually with shorts and just the shells and helmets, you don't see a lot of that action ramp up, but it has been here. I mean, there were some, Derek Barnes laid out Shane Zylstra yesterday. There was a little bit of a feisty skirmish here today. Looking at this defense, and that's going to be a storyline I know on Pride of Detroit you're going to be writing about, I'm sure today, because the quotes have been there. We've been talking to these guys. The swagger on defense. Dan Campbell said he sees it not just with the defensive backs, but overall on this defense.
Right.
You can sense it out here because they needed it.
Yeah, and last year, you kind of remember the storylines were a little bit similar, but only with the secondary. You get like CJ GJ there, like he's getting everybody hyped up, but now it kind of feels like that is now spread to everybody. You see Alex Anzalone mixing it up. You see Derek Barnes mixing it up. You see Levi Onwuzurike to me, which was a really interesting one. He's, a lot of people maybe counted him out early in his career. He's starting to show and get a little feistiness that maybe we saw back in his college days. So he could be a really interesting addition, both kind of to get that mental chemistry going and, dude can ball when he's healthy.
That's a good point because so many people look and say at this defense, the offense, if this guy takes the next step, if Jack Campbell, who we talked to today, takes that next step, this team can take that next step. Who are a couple players that you're eyeballing to say these are key pieces that if they take that step, this team can really make a big stride?
Yeah, defensively, I think we nailed it with those first two, like Levi and definitely.
In the back then.
Yeah, exactly. The other one I would think is maybe like Josh Paschal, right? He's probably in line for right now a starting role, and if he can kind of hold that when Marcus Davenport's out there doing a lot, year three, we've seen a lot of guys make that year three jump, and I think, especially with that position, he was dealing with some injuries early on in his career, and the Lions are looking for that pass rush opposite Aiden Hutchinson, and we already know he can run defense, so if he kind of adds that pass rush to his element, got a new defensive line coach, they got a bunch of guys that are, I would say, kind of mentors to him that can make him make that year three jump. It's just a matter of him putting all those pieces together.
I assume you're on the Dan Campbell caffeine diet because between writing, video content, the podcast, streaming, you have to be one of the busiest dudes I know. Pride of Detroit. Shed a little light on what you do, why you love what you do, and for the people that don't know out there, how long you've been doing this.
Yeah, I've kind of been doing it as a hobby all the way back to 2008. I kind of used, because the main thing about Pride of Detroit is we're by fans for fans. So we can write. We try to write objectively as possible, but like we also write with a lot of emotions. And so when I started in 2008, it was obviously the 0-16 season. I kind of called it my therapy at the time. It's just like writing your feelings down. But as we've grown and gotten credentials and all that, it's really a fun opportunity to be able to kind of ride that line of being able to be a fan still, but when the team is this good, you can be objective and excited because it's all kind of falling in line here.
And so, listen, man, I've followed you guys since really you've been going at this.
Yeah.
But for people that are still foreign to the idea, just the impressions, the number of eyeballs you get, give people a general sense of not necessarily the daily numbers and the analytics and everything, but just to understand the scope of it because so many people turn to you guys as one of the key sources for this team.
Yeah, no, it's kind of incredible. The easiest way to kind of judge how well we're doing is from the other sites on the SB Nation network, and obviously there are huge markets across. There's Dallas, Kansas City, Philly are naturally the teams that have the most viewers amongst our network. We are right there up with them now, and it's, I think, yes, it speaks to some of the work we do, but I think it more widely speaks to just the hunger of Lions fans, the insatiable nature of just wanting more and more content, especially at this time of year when things start really ramping up and people are really excited. And so, it's a testament to me and my staff, but really I can't thank the Lions fans enough for their passion.
All of the man, all of the work. Humility comes out in all of it too. Buddy, thanks for the time.
Brad, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeremy.